Welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial we'll learn how to sew a V placket neckline and with a round collar. This type of neck is what we are going to learn how to sew. I will make it as simple as possible so that as a beginner you'll be able to sew it. I'll be cutting a blouse, and the blouse is slightly different from the one I show on my thumbnail or at the beginning of this video. So I want the blouse to have a cut together sleeve, but the purpose of this video is not actually for the blouse. It's to showcase how to cut the neck and sew the neck. So that is my main objective for this video. But you can just watch how to cut this particular type of blouse. That is a blouse with cut together sleeve. Alright, so I'll be using my pattern paper first, and I will draw a reference line, and from that reference line I will draw the length of the blouse, how long I want it to be, with 1 inch seam allowance. So on this line I'll put 3 inches. If you have been following me, you know this is what I do almost anytime I want to draft a blouse. Alright, after putting the 3 inches, I will put 5 inches, and on that 5 inches I'll come down by 1.5 inches. I didn't notice that my camera stopped working, but this is what I did. 3 inches, then I marked another 5 inches at this point, and I came down by 1.5 inches. Then I will draw my shoulder slants. I want my sleeve to sit well, so I'll be using this shoulder slants for my sleeve as well, since it is a cut together kind of sleeve. So I'll put my back divided by 2 here, which is 8, and I will just draw the line. This is for reference purpose, so that you understand what I'm doing or I'll be doing. Alright, so that is where the armhole is supposed to be, but because it is a cut together sleeve, I will extend my sleeve along this shoulder slope line. That is how I want to cut this particular sleeve. If you do it like this, it sits well. Your shoulder sits, the sleeve sits well, it sleeves better. Alright, from this mark now, from the reference line or the shoulder line, I will mark to my waist. That is my half length, shoulder to waist, and I will draw the line so that I can put my waist measurement there. Waist divided by 4. Waist divided by 4. Then I will add 1 inch. This 1 inch is for ease and for my sewing allowance. Just 1 inch. Then at this lower part, I'll put my hip divided by 4. Then I will add 1 inch for ease and seam allowance. Then I'll connect all the lines. I'll connect the 2 lines. The next thing I will mark is my sleeve length, depending on how long you want your sleeve to be. So I'm just trying to extend that line. Then I'll put my sleeve length. Here I marked 6 inches. You can reduce and you can increase. So then how wide you want the sleeve to be, that is what I want to put now. You measure your biceps, or where your arm will come out from. then you divide it by 2. That is what you put at that end. So I will draw the line, a straight line. Then I will try and connect that point to my waist point like this. Because I don't want a sharp edge at this point, I will just curve it a little. Then for my sleeve, I don't want the lower part or the armpit part to be straight, so I'll just do a slant. I'll just draw a slant line and I will blend it to my waist. You can leave it the way it was before, but I just don't want it that way, so I'll just blend it like this. The next thing I'll do is to cut out my blouse pattern. Then I'll work on the neckline. Now this neckline depends on how close you want it to be. I'll mark 3 inches width for the back and 1 inch depth. That is the back neckline. Now if you want your neckline open, you can increase it. Maybe you do 3.5 inches by 1 inch. This is the back. Now for the front, I'll do 3 inches by 3 inches. Actually this neck is close, but maybe when I'm sewing, there might still be a need for me to open it up a little because it will be tight from what I'm seeing. But anyway, let's just cut out the neckline for the back. I'm using this particular pattern for the front and the back, so I'll cut the neckline for the back front first, then I'll use it to cut my fabric. Then I'll come back to modify the pattern so that I can use it to cut the front as well. So this is the neckline for the back. I'll place it on the fabric now and I'll use it to cut my fabric exactly the way it is. Alright, this is it. I'm done cutting the back. Let's modify the pattern to cut out the front. Now cut the neckline. So I'll use this to cut my fabric before we modify the front. That is the V shape at the front. I already cut it. This is what the front piece look like. This is what the front piece look like. All right, let me use my pattern. Let me modify the neck on the pattern so that you will understand. So the first thing you do is to mark where you want that V or that placket to stop. In this case, I am marking 9 inches. 9 inches. So put a line there. Then on that line, I will mark half an inch. It depends on how wide you want it to be. You can go 0.75 or even 1 inch, but I'm okay with half inch. You know, this center front is supposed to be on fold. So if I mark half inch here, by the time I open it up, it will be 1 inch. So I'll mark half inch. After marking that point, it remains the neckline. Now you can make it 2.5 inches depending on how open you want it to be, and you can reduce it. I'll actually be marking 2 inches at this point. We're marking 2 inches, and you can even mark 3 inches depending on how open you want it to be. So I'll connect the 2 lines and I'll cut it out. So after cutting it out on this pattern, I'll place it on my fabric and cut it out on the fabric as well. Alright, this is what it looks like. Let me put a white paper underneath so that you see it very well. Okay, this is it. Now the next thing is to go and prepare the placket and take it to the sewing machine so that we can start sewing. Alright, this is the fabric. I already added an interfacing to it, and I cut 1.5 inches on fold. I cut 1.5 inches on fold. That is if you open it, it will be 3 inches. And the length should be the length of this opening with maybe 3 inches extra or even more. So I will just put it on the V that I just marked, and I will sew it straight down. I'll sew on both sides. Just keep watching and you understand what I am doing. After sewing, the next thing is to cut the lower part. Sorry, I didn't realize that I'm off the camera while I was doing this part, but don't worry, I will show you a video right now. I'll play a video right now where I will show you what I just did. Alright, this is what I did. After cutting, I cut it to get to the point where I sew like this V. Did you see it? Then I'll cut the other parts too to get to that place, and that is it. Alright, so that is what I did. And the next thing is I'll take it to my ironing table and iron properly. You see, after cutting that part, I was able to push the placket inward. I was able to take it inside. So I'll go iron, then I'll come back to show you how to sew it. So after ironing, you push your placket inside and you sew it, or you understitch this in this case. See, I'm still trying to show you how to push it inside, and I'll sew it like this. So this is what the front looks like. This is the wrong side. The next thing is I'll just cut off the excess. I'll cut it off, and that is one of the easiest way to sew. Did you see it? It overlaps at the lower part, and at this part it opens. So the next thing will be to connect the shoulder of the back to the front. We'll connect the shoulder of the back to the front. After doing that, I'll come back to explain the next step. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Now I realize that that neckline looks a little bit tight, so I need to cut 1 inch down at the front so that it can be more open. So if you are sewing yours, instead of doing 3 inches width and 3 inches depth in front, you can do 3 inches width and 4 inches depth. It depends on what you prefer. Anyway, you can leave it like this if you want it so close to your collarbone. So I'll just cut it 1 inch at this placket area and blend it to the rest of the neckline. Now the next thing I'll do is to measure the entire neckline so that I can use it to cut the round collar. I'll measure it all around. Alright, it gave me 16.25, so it depends on your individual's measurement. So I will now go cut a straight strip. I'll cut a straight strip. Actually, you can cut it straight, you can cut it curve. Personally, I love my work when I cut it curve, but since this is just teaching you how to do it, let's do straight. Then maybe subsequent video I'll teach you how to cut it in the curve way. So I cut straight strip. This is 2 inches. Then the length, we measured 16.25. I will add 1 inch to it. That it will give me 17.25. That is the length. The width is 2 inches, and I cut 2 pieces. So I'll take one to the ironing table and add interfacing. I'll add interfacing to it. But before then, let me shape the edge. I want it shaped. So just watch as I will do the shaping here. So after shaping it like this, I will go and add interfacing to one, and I'll come back to show you the next step. After adding interfacing, I will bend the lower part and I will sew. Like, you can do 0.25 inches or you can do half. I am sewing half at this point, so I'll just, the one that I added interfacing to, that is the one I am bending. You can iron it first before you sew this part so that it can come out neat if you're not used to it. So I'll just top stitch it till I get to the end. Now the next thing is I'll place it on the second strip and I'll sew the upper part now using 0.5 inches allowance, depending on what you want to use as your own sewing allowance. So I'll now follow that shape. You see that curved shape? I'll follow it all through until I get to the other side, maintaining my seam allowance, maintaining my sewing allowance. So I'll just keep sewing until I get to the end. After that, I will trim the seam allowance, then I will go iron it. Now to connect it to the neckline, you can start from the wrong side. You can start from the wrong side, that is your collar, you place it on the wrong side and you sew round, or you place it on the right side and you sew round. It depends on what you want. Any one is fine, but personally I love placing it on the right side first, and I will sew it using the other side I did not bend. That is where I will place on the right side and I will sew. So just watch as I will do the sewing, then and how I'll finish the neckline entirely. I started sewing at the center, so I'm done with one side. Now I'm starting at the center again so that I can go to the other side. I hope you understand what I'm doing. So once I'm done with the first sewing, I will bend in all the allowance and I will top stitch. And that will be all for the collar. So once I'm done with that, I will go and iron it. Then I will join my blouse. I will join this side. I will turn the at the lower part and on the sleeve, and that will be all. You can style this neck with even your gown. you do whatever sleeve. I'm not particular about the style or the blouse style. What I actually wanted to show you in this video is how to sew this particular neckline. And like I said, there are other ways to cut the neckline. Personally, I don't like cutting it straight. I like cutting it in a curved manner. In a subsequent video, we'll learn how to do that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for always coming back. Thank you for always supporting my channel. If you are new to this channel and you have not subscribed, please do like and share, and drop your comments. When you like my video, it helps my video to go viral, and it makes my video to reach more people that might need it. So please, all I just want you to do is to just press that like button. And thank you so much. I will see you in my next video. Keep watching until you get to the final, so that you see the final product or how it looks like eventually.